Today, our last reading for this unit is A Haven for Chimps. When you see the word haven, it looks like heaven, doesn't it? H-A-V-E-N is haven. H-E-A-V-E-N is heaven. So a haven for chimps is a wonderful place. So if you look at this picture, where do you think the chimps had been before they took the picture? Where had they been? My guess, because I like to think before I read, my guess is that these chimps had lived in a laboratory and people had been experimenting on the chimps. The chimps had lived in a cage. A cage is a very small place for a chimp. A chimp is like a monkey. So, the chimps live to be maybe 30 or 40 years old. What happens if they spend 10 or 20 years in a cage? It's not a good life. It's a very sad life. But then, when they finish their duty or their job or what we do to them, they have a special place they can go. They can enjoy the rest of their life in this wonderful place. So that's what we're going to read about. I don't know if my idea was correct, but we'll see, because it's important to think and to make a guess before you read. It's early morning at Chimp Haven, a sanctuary for retired research chimpanzees. I was right. It is a sanctuary. A sanctuary means a lovely place. It's my sanctuary. It's my beautiful place I go. Sanctuary. The air fills with hoots and cries. Woot, 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 woot. The chimps are excited. It's snack time. Veterinarian Raven Jackson is bringing them juice and frozen bananas. How awesome is that? The younger chimps run around and play on the grass. The older chimps are less active. Some suffer from illnesses like heart disease. Let's remember, chimps are similar to humans. Humans get heart disease, chimps get heart disease. However, both the old and the young chimps have one thing in common. They will never have to be subjects in medical experiments again. Yay! From lab to playground. For nearly 100 years, laboratories have used chimpanzees to test drugs and medical procedures. Medical procedures are not fun. Usually there's a knife cut in a medical procedure. This is because of their genetic similarity to humans. Lab chimps used to have a hard life. They often lived by themselves in small cement cages. Some never went outdoors, and many of them were given HIV and hepatitis viruses in order to test vaccines. It's very, very sad for these chimps. But think about it. Do you want to test a new shot on a human or a chimpanzee? I think we should test the new shot on a mouse because I don't really care if a mouse dies, but I don't want a chimpanzee to die. Is that wrong of me? What has changed? A U.S. law protecting chimpanzees as an endangered species used to apply only to wild chimps. That means save the chimps, don't kill them. But it was for chimps in the forest, not in the laboratory. But in 2015, the law changed to protect all chimps. As a result, the National Institute of Health, NIH, is retiring its research chimpanzees. No more chimps in the lab? To help with the change, specially designed places like Chimp Haven are opening the doors to these great apes. I didn't know we can't use chimpanzees in medical labs anymore. I honestly didn't know that. At the sanctuaries, chimps can socialize with each other. It's the first time some of them have ever seen another chimpanzee. At Chimp Haven, they live in They live in play yards with climbing platforms, ropes, and swings. There are 2 large forested areas surrounded by a moat. A moat is water that goes around an island. That's a moat. And fences. You need fences to keep the chimpanzees in their area. After years of captivity, research chimpanzees now have the chance to learn how to be wild. Wow. They are happy, I think. Split opinions. That means some people say yes, some people say no. Conservationists, remember the word conservationists? People who love the environment. Conservationists have been working for years to rescue research chimpanzees. They are happy that the NIH is finally ending this practice. It means people will stop capturing chimpanzees in the wild and selling them for research. If they are no longer used in labs, chimps may someday no longer be endangered. That would be good. Studies have shown that chimpanzees have intelligent, emotional natures similar to those of humans. Animal rights activists are therefore against using chimps in medical research, especially in invasive experiments. Invasive means goes in your body, in your body. Invasive experiments. Yeah, I don't want them to use chimps in labs at all, especially not for invasive procedures. On the other hand, different opinion. Some scientists argue that animal testing is important for making advances in human health. Well, that makes sense, but I'd rather use a mouse and not a chimpanzee because a chimpanzee is similar to a human. Chimps have been used to study infectious diseases like HIV and reproduction, among other things. After the NIH announced that it was stopping its chimp program, Frankie Troll, president of the Foundation for Biomedical Research, expressed concern about the decision. Given NIH's primary mission to protect public health, it seems surprising, she said in a 2015 Nature article. Let's see. After I'm going to look at paragraph again because there's something I didn't understand, so I have to read it again. So, on the other hand, some scientists argue that animal testing is important for making advances in human health, for improving human health. So chimps have been used to study infectious diseases and reproduction, among other things. After the NIH announced that it was stopping its chimp program, Frankie Troll, president of the Foundation for Biomedical Research, expressed concern about the decision. So that must mean she doesn't like their decision. Given NIH's primary mission to protect public health, it seems surprising, she said in a 2015 Nature article. Oh, so what she said is that we need to use chimpanzees because we don't want to use humans and hurt humans. Okay, so people argue about these things, right? In addition, some scientists experiment on chimpanzees to find cures for diseases that affect chimps, not just humans. So this is another reason to continue. So these paragraph H and I are why we should continue using chimpanzees. So look at paragraph I. In addition, some scientists experiment on chimpanzees to find cures for diseases that affect chimps, not just humans. Disease ecologist Peter Walsh has been working on an Ebola vaccine for wild chimps. He worries that the NIH decision will bring his research to a halt, make him stop his research, and hurt the health of the species. The United States is the world's leading nation for chimpanzee conservation research. Besides the United States, Walsh argues, there really is no other place to do conservation-related trials. So he said we need to have chimps in order to do research to save chimps' lives. The debate over using chimpanzees in medical research continues. Under the new law, some scientists may be allowed to conduct experiments on chimps if the goal is the preservation of the species itself. So what it says, there's a new law since 2015. You can experiment on chimps if you're doing it to save the chimps, but you're not doing it to save the people. That said, 99% of chimp DNA is the same as human DNA, so what happens to chimps will probably help people as well. It doesn't mean that the NIH is eliminating chimpanzee research altogether, stresses Jen Feuerstein, the director of Save the Chimps, a sanctuary in Florida. Gosh, I'd love to visit one of those sanctuaries. However, it's likely that the focus will shift to more non-invasive forms of research instead. Wow, very interesting. Okay, so I want you to read those 3 readings because you're going to be having a reading test this week. All right, bye.